Sometimes companies like to send, when they send promotional emails, they usually have an entire template. You have the log on top, like all the banners. And then if you compare that type of an email, because those emails usually go into the promotional folder right away, because Google knows it. Same thing with Yahoo. They already know it. Uh, Compared to, let's say, if you send a simple black and white email, it's just text without anything. And those emails tend to convert better.
Now, something that you focus on, with your company is making sure that you are implementing practices into the marketing that are proven. I saw that on your site and in your content over and over again, that word proven. So, can you give an example of a proven marketing strategy and what makes it proven? How do you develop a good view of your brand if we're talking about just online?
The best way to do it, of course, is through content. Have different pillars of content. Uh, if you show your work, that's one side. It would be great to show some personal sides, because like everyone can talk about marketing, but then each and every person is an individual, and everyone is different, just like our fingerprints.
Alex Thoric is the co-founder of Building Income on Demand, a singular business for entrepreneurs to learn and implement everything related to marketing, including systems, automation, marketing channels, and mindset. Alex is passionate about helping businesses create a marketing system so entrepreneurs can hustle less and make more money. If you're now building your marketing and are looking for proven ways to do it right, or maybe just need a refresher, this episode is for you. Enjoy the show. Alex Thoric from Building Income on Demand. Thank you so much for coming on. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Hey, Brian, thanks a lot for having me on.
You are very welcome, sir. So I know that we're going to talk marketing today, but I really want to understand, since this is about entrepreneurship, I want to understand where your entrepreneurship journey began and what led you to this point. So if you could kind of give us the Reader's Digest version of that, that would be amazing, so we get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, we'll be happy to share that. So I would say it all started when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. So my dad gave me the book. He said, I want you to read it. And then the moment I read that, everything kind of shifted in my head, because I was thinking that the world works one way. And then after reading that book, I could literally see the other side of the world. And then my dad also advised me to join a network marketing company back in Europe. When I was back then, I was about 17 years old. So I started doing. I was literally selling products to my classmates. I was going door to door to businesses, because I realized, because I was like trying to figure out who would be my perfect or ideal clients. Right, that's what marketing is all about. You figure out who's the ideal client, and then you kind of reach out to them. And I started going door to door, but specifically to businesses. So I'd say, think of a mall. I would go to the mall and people would sell different things. Like I would go to different stores within that mall, and they're just sitting there waiting, doing nothing. I mean, they're just waiting for the customers to come in, and those were kind of that was kind of my target audience. And I did get a couple of sales from that. Got quite a bit of experience. Um, then when we have moved to Canada, I went to college, started going to. So the program that I was going to was business administration and marketing, and I joined another network marketing company. But then I wanted to build a team, and I was kind of fed up of running after people, trying to show the business opportunity, the presentation. I'm sure you know how the process works, or the system itself in the network marketing world. So I
Yeah, I've
started,
been involved in a couple of
yeah,
those in my
yeah.
time as well. Yeah.
So I started like looking for different solutions online, and I found out about funnels. So I was curious, like, what's a funnel? And then started digging in. And then after the funnel, I would go into email marketing and social media, ads, all of that. And that was back in 2017-ish. And at the same time, so I basically built out that whole structure, tried the webinar funnel, got a couple of registrations. I had one person on my webinar, but I realized the system works. Like people are filling out the form. They I did have just one person who showed up, and then I shared that with my friend who was my upline, and we're still best friends today. We actually run Build Income on Demand together. Then we decided to start a marketing agency helping local businesses with their marketing, and that's how we kind of got into the world of online marketing specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it just curiosity that, when you discovered this new terminology of a funnel, was it just pure curiosity that made you dive in, or was it a combination of that and just the being done with trying to force your will out there and trying to find somebody to jump in with you?
I would say it was a mix of both. So initially, it was a desire to find another way, and then when I kind of found it, I literally started buying courses on different topics, the ones that I mentioned earlier. And then at the same time, while I was going to college, it was my third semester. We had marketing 101, and we were supposed to promote. We had a case study where were supposed to promote a company. We had $2 million of budget. Our target audience were millennials. I was like, sweet, we're going to create an app, we're going to run ads. And back then, I knew that because the company that I was working with, we were selling telecommunication products. So think of internet, cell phone, home phone, TV, like anything that's related to telecommunications, which was cool because you sell once and then you get paid every single month for as long as those people stay with the company.
Right.
Yeah. But that company, the network marketing company, they didn't necessarily advertise themselves, right? Because that's how the industry works.
Right.
Um, the type of the That's the business structure. I would say, and they would always say like bigger companies, like they would give us examples of, let's say, if we talk about U.S. Like AT&T would easily spend $10,000 on a billboard to have it on the street a month. And back then, when I started learning about Facebook ads and all those things, I'm like, if we put $10,000, and it was back in 2018, $10,000 into Facebook ads a month, like you can get crazy big results.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I was talking about in that case study. So when I submitted that, I think I got 60 or 65%. I passed, but I was surprised. I was like, what's wrong with it? Like I did everything perfectly. Like I learned from Ryan Dice, Billie Jean, like the big marketers, like people that were doing it. And I came up to the teacher. I'm like, what's wrong with it? She's like, well, he didn't mention anything about traditional marketing. Where she said like billboards, TV ads, newspapers, radio. I'm like, yeah, but you can't really, there's no way how you could track that.
Right.
And she says, yes, I get her point, but it's important to do that part as well for the brand awareness. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. So I basically quit after my third semester.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's something that is, really important to understand, when this with this topic of going to school versus not, to get that higher education. If you're going into a field like we're talking about today, marketing, you don't want to be learning from a professor who's been teaching it from behind a desk
Hmm.
for 20 years and not actually out there in the real world right now executing. You saw the disconnect
Hmm.
as soon as your teacher said, yeah, I get it, but still we need you to do this just because that's how it's always been done.
Yeah. Or because
Yeah.
that's the curriculum that we have.
Right, right. This is what we teach, so
Hmm.
this is what I need you to illustrate. Even though based on evidence and the guys that are out there doing it, that you can 10x your results if you go digital versus throwing an ad on a billboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. And today, I think some of these tendencies are actually starting to switch back to implementing more of those quote unquote traditional marketing methods. Are you seeing that? Are you having like your clients seeing that and implementing some of that as well?
Yes, we are actually seeing those. And the way we are implementing those these days is we like to call it hybrid marketing. And the reason to that is because people's So first of all, people's attention span is super short these days because of the TikTok, the short form content. Second of all, people don't have as much trust these days. So it's important. The way we look at it is we look at the fundamentals first, and then we can add on all the other strategies, tactics from the digital marketing world in a way, because human psychology. Because at the end of the day, marketing is human psychology, just like sales, and human psychology doesn't really change that much. So that's why we like to look at the fundamentals, but then we also again add on those, say the different tricks, different ways of getting people's attention, and also building the trust using online marketing. So prior to COVID, we could just run an ad campaign, create content, just post content on social media, and run an ad campaign that directly leads people to the funnel, to fill out the form, to get the offer, like whatever it is, right? But we directly send traffic to that funnel, or to the form. These days, because people don't have as much trust, what we like to do is we create sh- short form content, and it's mostly short form videos, as well as longer form. And when I say longer, I'm referring to 3 to 5 minute videos. We take those, we run them as ads, and we let people consume it. And the reason why we're doing that is because there was a study that Google did. They called it 7-11-4. You can Google it. You're gonna see lots of different articles, that people write about it. So Google wanted to see how much time does it take these days, for someone to become a customer of a company, from not knowing about that company to becoming their client. It takes these people. It takes these days for them to consume 7 hours of content, have 11 touch points across 4 different channels. And knowing that information, like you would literally need to have, I don't know, 700 different shirts in order to get to 7 hours. So the idea of having, of course, I'm exaggerating, but again, you want to, the goal is to get as much attention as possible. And the goal of the a little longer form content is to build that trust and build that credibility in the marketplace. Because
Mm,
like people buy from you when they know, like, and trust you. And this way, you're building that credibility and you're putting out that goodwill in the marketplace. So by
mm.
doing that, people get to see you multiple times. They get to consume the content, and then those people, that what we like to do after that is we start targeting people who watch at least 25% of those videos.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And okay, now this is bringing up a whole bunch of questions. So as we talk about the study that was done by Google, and you were saying that you actually implement these 3 to 5 minute videos and turn those into ads. Now, within those 3 to 5 minute videos, are you including a call to action anywhere in there, or is it purely this is what I do and let me give you some value?
So most of them, they're typically just educational videos, because the goal is not to sell those videos. The goal is to genuinely provide value and to build that goodwill, because you don't want you want to build it, to have a good reputation with the audience. Within the video itself, what we like to mention is, let's say, if you are interested or if you want to get more information, let me know in the comments. So that also creates more engagement. And
Mm,
Facebook would, or Meta in general, it would push it even more. So the goal is to build that curiosity, build that engagement, because if somebody comments, somebody shares, other people will do the same thing.
okay. Okay.
But we don't necessarily, yeah. So like you could use an automation where you could say, like people do these days when they say, drop the word, I don't know, growth in the comments below, and I will send you this resource. That's, you could run that as an ad, have a short clip. It could be like a 30 or 60-second clip, um, and that's when it would make sense. But also, you could mention that in a 3 to 5 minute video.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And within those 3 to 5 minute videos, if you do say, drop me, a comment, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you want some more information. I recently came across this update on YouTube where it has promote this content. So it's kind of like running an ad, but I guess a little bit less intense,
Mhm.
maybe a little less targeted. Have you had any experience with that? And is that what you're doing for these short form videos?
So we mostly use the strategy specifically on Facebook and Instagram. I would even say mostly Facebook. Uh, but this is the exact strategy that we are planning on using starting right now. We actually have everything built up. And the idea with these videos as well is for the video to show up on the right hand side, because usually that's how people consume content. They see that they'll watch a video and then they click on the two first two, three videos that they see on the right hand side. But the first one usually says sponsored,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like a organic video. Like people most of the times they don't even pay attention to the word sponsored basically. So it looks like a real video, but in reality, you pay for it to show up, and it doesn't cost that much either.
It's so interesting that you say that, because looking at it through the marketing lens and from somebody, you've got your own business, you're wanting to run an ad, whatever, you are more hyper aware of the fact that it says sponsored
Hmm.
underneath of that thumbnail versus just the regular person who is clicking through YouTube. And so that's something that we can kind of really take in and maybe kind of break the stigma about soiling our brand, if you will, with a sponsored placement. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And that's the idea behind it. Because people like if you make the content that looks, I would say, authentic to the platform, that it would be like a simple where you literally take the phone and you start recording yourself, and it looks like a simple video that was just posted on Facebook or posted on YouTube, and you don't have too much promotional stuff around it. Um, those type of videos perform even better.
Right, right. Because again, it's something that looks like just a regular run of the mill
Yeah.
video that would be there. And all of a sudden it's being suggested for you. I
Hmm.
mean, it's the same type of deal when you're talking about legacy marketing, when we would have all these really fancy letters that would come in the mail with all this typeset and images and everything. And then now it's switched up to where the letters that I'm sure they're printed or at least copied, but they look like they're handwritten and
Hmm.
hand signed. So it looks like just a letter that you would get, from your aunt or from your grandma, right?
Yeah,
But it's a marketing letter. It's the same type of deal.
it
It's just a
is.
different implementation.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
more
it,
of a positioning. But yeah, even in case with emails, let's say if we like sometimes companies like to send when they send promotional emails, they usually have an entire template. You have the log on top, like all the banners. And then if you compare that type of an email, because those emails usually go into the promotional folder right away, because
mm,
Google knows it. Same thing with Yahoo. They already know it. Uh, Compared to, let's say, if you send a simple black and white email, it's just text without anything, and those emails tend to convert better.
hmm I've heard that as
Yeah.
well. Which, from somebody who is creative and likes to design and put stuff together, it kind of hurts my heart a little bit, you know.
It does. I mean, it does depend on the industry too. Because let's say, like, we do have a client who is in, they run a flower store, and it's a pretty big. Like, they are closing their in-person location, and they're going online 100%.
Mm,
Like, they will have an option to do a pickup in the city, but other than that, it's going to be only pretty much online. And then in their case, like, you want people to see flowers because that's the product, and you can't really explain it by just using words. I mean, you could, but it's how far can you get with that, even if you are the best copywriter in the world?
yeah, very true, very true. All right. And another thing that you mentioned was the word brand. So there's a couple different breakdowns that I want to get when we're talking about this marketing world. And the first one is, what is a brand and how does that incorporate into your marketing?
The way I see brand is, if we talk about online brand, right? Or brand in general.
Just brand in general, something where it's attached to you or the business. When people see it or they read it, they know, like Nike's "just do it" phrase, right? You hear the words "just do it," you
Hmm.
automatically see the little swoosh in your head, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I'm talking
Yeah.
about brand.
So the way I see brand is you have an emotional attachment, but it's also your reputation and what you're known for. Like in case with Nike, they wanted to be known. Uh, they wanted to be partnered with the best athletes, so people would have that connection of best athletes using Nike. So if you want to be just like those athletes, use Nike. So in their case, it was more of a connection. In case with, let's say, a personal brand, because a lot of people talk about that these days in the online world, it's your reputation just online. It's just like having a business card when you go to a networking event, but it's exactly the same thing, just online.
Hmm. Now, how do you develop a good view of your brand if we're talking about just online?
The best way to do it, of course, is through content. Have different pillars of content. If you show your work, that's one side. It would be great to show some personal sides because like everyone can talk about marketing, but then each and every person is an individual and everyone is different, just like our fingerprints pretty much.
And
And
this is something that I've heard. I guess you could say recently, but more like started about 3 years ago, in the organic marketing space, talking about not necessarily separating your business content from your personal. Um, is that still? I mean, obviously we're talking about it, so that's still something you're seeing that is resonating with people and helping to build a brand. Yeah.
it definitely does, yeah. And when you say business and personal, it doesn't necessarily need to be, let's say, if we talk about the personal part, you don't necessarily need to share your family if you don't want to. Like the best example that I can think of, and I always give him as an example, is Gary Vee. As he says it, he's like, I'm uh, the most private public person that you know of,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is true. Like you know everything about him, but you have no, like, unless you're closer to him. Um, but he doesn't really share anything about his family. And I'm referring to wife and kids and like basically personal life. Like he does share things about his dad because that's how he built his career. That's where it all started. But yeah, if you don't want to share your kids, because for some people that's privacy, and it's kind of none of your business what we do, but other people are fine with it. So yeah, when we talk about personal, you could literally share your hobbies,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we
Share
mentioned
your
earlier. Like you asked me about the guitar that I have in the back here. So that's
right.
that's one of the things, and that's why I actually placed it there because that's something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. And you're right. You could share your hobbies like we were talking about, in the pre-conversation before we got on and hit the record button, so to speak. Let's get back to breaking down some of this marketing stuff. So we covered brand and how it relates to marketing. Now, another thing that I've heard is that marketing and advertising are not necessarily the same thing. What is your view on that? And if there is a difference, what is it?
Well, in case with marketing, I mean, marketing is everything and anything you can think of, starting from content, emails, billboards, ads, all of that is marketing. So advertisement is just part of marketing. That's how I personally see that. And a lot of people they they kind of use these words interchangeably, just like the two words strategies and tactics, which are not it's not the same thing.
Right.
So strategy is more, it's you could create, let's say, you could have an annual strategy, and then that could be broken down to quarterly. But then within that quarter, maybe you'd use certain tactics that you want to test and see how that works. But then the strategy is, I would say, it's a bigger picture. Same thing goes for marketing.
Right, right. And I'm really glad that you made that distinction between strategy and tactics too, because I didn't have that on my list. I had forgotten about it because there's obviously so much to
Yeah.
this space in the industry. So, yeah, definitely glad that you brought that in. And you're right, it's more big picture and the rest is more granular,
Mm-hmm.
the tactics and then the advertising. So, definitely good stuff there.
Yeah. So,
Now,
and then, yeah. And then in the case with marketing advertisement, it's pretty much the same. It's just advertisement, it amplifies your marketing.
right. Just like we were talking about before with the videos that look like something
Yeah.
that just a regular person would post, and you put some ad dollars behind it, and then boom,
Yeah.
there's your advertising amplifying your
Exactly.
marketing.
Yeah.
100%. Now, something that you focus on, with your company is making sure that you are implementing practices into the marketing that are proven. I saw that on your site and in your content over and over again, that word proven. So, what is, let me see, let me say this correctly here. Can you give an example of a proven marketing strategy and what makes it proven?
So a proven marketing strategy would be something like, so I'll mostly talk about service-based businesses. First of all, it's knowing who is your ideal client or customer avatar or ICP. You can call it however you want it. Marketers create different terms for it, but it's your ideal client basically. And that's where it all starts, because if you don't really know who's your ideal client and you say that I can work with everyone, that's not how marketing works, because I'm sure you've heard of this saying, if you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. So it is
Yep.
important for you to know who's your ideal client. Then what kind of offer do you have for them? That's the second step. Now you can create the offer based on, the way we do it is we look at the pain points, as well as desires that those ideal clients or those prospects want to have as a desire, or they want to get rid of as a pain point. So now we can create an offer specifically for them that talks and uses language that they will understand. So you need to get into understand what they're thinking about and pretty much put yourself in their shoes. And as there's another saying, forgot who said it. Maybe you can help me with that. But he said, join the conversation that's happening in your client's head, in your prospect's head.
Yeah, that I don't remember who said it, but you're right. That's the sentiment, if not the exact quote.
Yeah. So because when you can do that, now you don't really have any limits. You know who's your ideal client. You create the offer that specifically talks to them, which in this case, actually, you don't even need to be super smart and like knowing how to run Facebook ads or YouTube ads. In this case, you're literally using fundamental marketing, and you're just calling out that specific audience, which is called, that this whole technique or the tactic is called dog whistle, because you're
Mm-hmm.
calling them out specifically. And you can have like all these different people that will see the ad. For example, like if we'll take YouTube, I don't know if you guys knew that in the first 5 seconds, after the first 5 seconds that you can skip that ad, YouTube doesn't really charge advertisers. So that helps you to remove those people that are not interested, who are not your deal clients.
Right. Absolutely. And the more that you can do that, the better off that you're going to be, the higher ROI you're going to get
Mm-hmm.
out of your marketing.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about being able to hear the conversation going on inside your prospect's head, there are that can get a little bit overwhelming, I would think, for some people when they think about that, especially if they're more introverted. So, if you could maybe give us a couple ways that you can go about gathering or finding out what that conversation is and how to implement it?
Yeah, I would be happy to. So I'll give you two options. Option one is doing it a little bit manually. You can go to answerthepublic.com, create an account for yourself. And what that platform does is you can put one or two keywords in the search and then see what people search on Google, what people search on YouTube, um, TikTok, Yahoo. They have another platform, I believe. But most of the times we'll look at Google and Yahoo. So it gives you the amount of searches that people search for those specific keywords. It also shows you other related keywords and what exactly people search for. So you get the volume and you also get the price per click. Let's say in case with price per click, if you're not planning on running ads on Google and do PPC campaign or even on YouTube, but you could still use that information to create content. And you could, with that content, now you can run ads to the content itself. Because people go to Google and then they look for the things that they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Another tool that you could use is Keywords Everywhere. It's a Chrome extension. So the way it works, exactly the same idea. You install it to your Chrome. You go to Google. You type in the keywords that you think that your ideal clients are will be looking for, uh, and then on the right hand side, you're gonna have all the different options, all the other searches that people are also searching for with longer keywords. So you can take those ones. It also shows you the amount of people that search for it on a monthly basis. So you could take those ones and create content about that or create ads. Use that in your emails. Basically, use it in your marketing. So that's more of a manual way to do it. If you want to be faster and use a bit of AI, you can go to ChatGPT and you can ask it to, you can explain who's your ideal client, ask it to be so you can start the prompt as act as a you will be doing I'm doing a market research and you are a professional market researcher. This is my ideal client. You basically explain who they are, maybe give the age, the gender, if that's important for you, if or if it's relevant, and then basically explain everything about the ideal client and ask it to give you everything that those type of people are thinking about. What are their pain points? What are their desires? And ChatGPT will pretty much give you everything because it takes information from the internet. So you don't necessarily need to Google anything. You don't need to go to Reddit because there's a lot of information on Reddit. You could do it manually again, but or you could do it this way, where ChatGPT gives you everything on a silver platter, pretty much. So when it gives you that, you could also say, act as that person and explain what questions or what answers you'd like to get for that specific problem using your own words. So now ChatGPT will give you, because there is a distinction of when you think, let's say, I think our clients want to get this benefit, and this benefit, when in reality, they don't really care about two of those, two out of three. So you can ask ChatGPT, explain or like give me a list of, let's say, 10 things that these people um, are really interested in or what's really important for them. So that way, you will get a lot of data, and then out of that, the sky's the limit. You can go in and ask it to create, I would say, 10 different headlines for videos, for emails, and then write those emails. You can ask it to write those emails in the voice of, I don't know, I will take David Ogilvy, Dan Kennedy, Frank Hearn. That's the style that I like. And they are known as one of the best copywriters, marketers, direct response marketers, I should say. And then you could just take that information and you start marketing and promoting your products or services.
Wow, that is insane.
That was a lot,
Like
right?
I, it no, it is a lot, but it's super valuable because me, I got involved in the organic marketing space a long time ago. So ChatGPT wasn't even wasn't even a thought in anybody's head
Mm-hmm.
at that time. And now what you just went through is a really powerful diagram to go from give me your quote unquote professional feedback on this chat GPT, and now switch roles into the customer and tell me what you want and why you want it. And then you can take that and, like you said, implement it into your marketing,
Mm-hmm.
your text posts, your video, make videos about it. Dude, that is, guys, you get on this. Like, this makes it super easy. Everything that Alex just laid out. Wow, what a game changer. I'm sure some of you are already doing it, but if you're not, start implementing today.
Yeah, try it out and
Wow.
see how it works, and then you can play around with it as much as you want to. The key is to ask really good quality questions.
Right, right. The better question. It's just like anything, like in the coaching world, for example, or in any business world, the higher quality questions you ask, the better your answers and results are going to
Mm-hmm.
be. So the
Exactly.
more you can sit around and think about those questions, the prompt is going to be better, and ChatGPT or whatever you're using is going to spit out
Yeah.
better answers. A
Sometimes
hundred percent.
if you don't know what to ask, so I wanted to I tested it with ChatGPT. I wanted to see what is going to give it back. You could literally ask. Well, you could explain your situation, say what do you want to do, like what's your goal with the business or whatever you're doing, and ask it what kind of questions should I ask you in order for me to understand the whole process and to get to my goals. And it gives you like really good questions. Like I saw those questions, I was like, wow. I would say like 7 out of 10. I didn't even think about those.
Again, just another amazing resource, an awesome nugget from the man Alex himself. So thank you so much for that. Incredible.
Yeah, happy to share.
Now we've got we've got this new path that we can dive down to really understand our customer and dive into what they're thinking based on all of the posts on the internet, right? So we have this information in our pocket now. Where is the best bang for the buck, so to speak, to start implementing and turning these into advertising?
In my opinion, I would say Meta, so both Facebook and Instagram. It does depend on the audience that you have, or maybe the age. Someone who's, let's say, if you're targeting someone who's a little older, but again, older is like 30 plus. Everyone is on Facebook pretty much. Younger than that is Instagram. So that's why it makes sense for you to run ads on Meta and let Facebook do its thing because their AI is super smart. The only thing you need to do is have good creative, and
Mm.
Facebook will show your ads to the right audience because
And
they,
they'll be able to place those ads either on Facebook or Instagram, and without you having to tell it what to
yeah,
do or why,
yeah,
just based on your targeting.
yeah, exactly. So you just choose all the audiences. It's advanced plus. So it's when you build, it's the second step when you build your ad set, where you choose the budget and where you choose your audience. You could literally leave it empty. Just maybe if you're running ads locally, just choose your local area. If it's like 5, 6, I don't know, 7 miles radius, and then just keep it open. Choose maybe if you need to choose the age and gender, but then other than that, just keep it open. And Facebook
Mm,
does an amazing job.
yeah, and it's only going to get better
Yeah,
as
yeah,
as the AI improves. It has more instances to train on. It's just going to get better and
yeah.
better, and that's something I wanted to touch on. Not necessarily just in AI, but I wanted to get your thoughts about what excites you about the future of your industry.
I think there's going to be a lot of changes, like a lot. People will be using, instead of them creating content, people will be using their avatars. I just actually had a call before our interview with one of the clients, and we were talking about the HeyGen app because he wanted to. So he does content in French, but he also wants to translate it to English, and then it was like, but I don't want to do the double. I don't want to do. double my work because it already takes a lot of time. So there is a software called HeyGen. I think it's HeyGen.ai. And what it does is you can upload your videos, and it will create an avatar version of you. So it will mimic your face, your voice, how you talk, your style, all the ups and downs. So you upload the video, you teach it, you train it, and then you can take the text written by ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you use, Gemini. There are lots of them. You can take the prompt. So sorry, now let's say you write the prompt, you get the script out of that, you put it into HeyGen apps, it creates an entire video for you of your avatar, talking in front of the camera and teaching one of the topics, for example, or educating people. So that way,
Interesting.
yeah, you don't even need to have a studio and it's set up, nothing like that.
So you're able to, what do? You upload so many minutes of video with you talking so that it gets an idea
Yeah,
what you look like, what you sound
yeah.
like, and then it'll analyze that. And then all you have to do is upload the script
Hmm.
essentially as far as what you want yourself to
Yeah,
say.
pretty much.
And then it creates the video.
Yeah, exactly.
And wow. And it can do that in multiple languages.
Uh, yes, I think so when we were on their website today, I think I saw 150 languages. It's yeah, it's insane. When you go to the homepage, like
Incredible.
they show you different examples and how it mimics everything. And whenever you, let's say the AI says something, and you can also the lip syncing is perfect.
Mm. Yeah, that's good because I've seen some of the earlier
Oh
iterations
yeah,
of
yeah. No,
AI
those
lip
ones
syncing.
are.
It's just looks like a bad Chinese movie.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, those guys are doing some incredible work.
Amazing. And I could really see how this would be super beneficial for people that are in the service space. Like you
Hmm.
said, like if you're teaching something, or even if you're in the product space and you want to be able to educate people in different languages that you don't speak about how to use your product
Hmm.
once they buy it.
Hmm.
All right, just incredible stuff. So what else is coming down the pipeline that excites you about the future of marketing?
Um, I'll say all the other AI softwares that will be coming out because there will be way more than what we currently have.
And do you see any particular like pain points or ways of smoothing out the marketing process that could be assisted by AI that's going to be coming out?
I would say creating an entire kind of ecosystem. I mean, some people already create those these days. You, where they so what they are doing is can't remember the name of the app now. Um, if I will, I'll let you know. But what they're doing, it's similar to what Zapier is doing, where Zapier connect, where you can connect different softwares and they kind of talk to each other. So let's say if somebody fills out a form on Facebook, they're being added to Google Sheets, and emails being sent. They're being added to the CRM, to the database. Basically, have all these automations. So with that one, you could also do the same thing. But what it does is you can connect ChatGPT um, with, for example, HeyGen, 11 Labs for the sound, for the voice, in order to have exactly the same voice as you have. Then connect, let's say, Google Drive. Um, and by the end, the goal is for you to, let's say, you write the prompt, it gives you the script, and that entire sequence creates a video by itself, and it uploads into Google Drive automatically. So the only thing
Hmm.
you need to do is go in, download, and then upload to YouTube or wherever you want to use it.
Wow.
It's still a bit of a
And
process to do it now. Definitely saved a lot of time, but I think that part will be improved even more.
oh yeah, definitely. I could absolutely see how once they have, because people are developing these AI agents right now,
Yeah.
essentially somebody that is like a virtual assistant, but it's AI in order to do all these tasks. And when they have one that's created that can essentially be Zapier and do it all for you,
Yeah.
because I got to tell you, dude, every time I look at Zapier and try to do something, it never works. I cannot get those damn integrations to work. I just get so frustrated. I'm like, this is useless.
Yeah, and sometimes one of them got shut down, and then like the whole system breaks down, and you're like, what exactly happened? And then you go through the whole automation to figure out. You like usually tells you which ones, but still like you need to go back and then fix that, and yeah,
Yeah, it's a pain,
it
but
is. It is.
if it's a pain point, it's going to be solved
Yeah.
by some company and their AI
Yeah.
coming very soon down
Yeah.
the pipeline.
But as I said, like speaking of the AI agents, like some companies, what they're doing now, we're also testing those with an idea of, let's say, if you call a real estate agent runs an ad campaign where they show a list of, I don't know, 20 houses between 500,000 and $700,000 in the area. And you're curious, like you want to see those houses because maybe you're looking for that specific type of those specific type of houses or the price point. So you fill out that form, and instead of waiting for the agent to call you, it's AI that calls you, and they try to get as much information as possible. But the AI is using agent's voice, so you'll never know that it was the agent, that it was AI. Sorry, you would think that
Mm-hmm.
was the agent himself.
Right. Yep. I've got something on the back end of my website that has an AI that can reach out and call people and to, gauge their interest, give them more information, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't checked it lately, but at the start, you could still tell that it wasn't a
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's gonna be indistinguishable.
It
Give
will. Yeah,
it give it another year or two, it's gonna be indistinguishable.
yeah. That's where it's all going. Yeah, because in this case, you don't like. I know that I was reading a report that companies are starting to close their call centers
Mm.
because they can now just have AI, and now you don't need to wait in line for five
Oh
minutes,
my
10 minutes,
god.
15 minutes. Yeah, like the AI can give you all the answers that AI has access to.
Right.
But then, let's say if AI can't answer certain things, of course they will connect you with one of the reps. But yeah, it
Right.
saves a lot of money and a lot of
A
time.
lot of money, a lot of time. Yeah. Yeah. If I could integrate, I don't want to integrate with a machine, but if I could talk to a machine and just get the answers that I need right away with no waiting,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do it all day long if it's something simple. Absolutely. Well, Alex, man, this has been an incredible conversation. So many good nuggets, so many good rabbit trails. I just can't thank you enough. So, where can people go to learn more about you, your company? Obviously, you know what the heck you're doing with this. You're in it. You love it. So, where do we go to find out about you and your company?
They can check out our website. It's buildingincomeondemand.com. They could, if you guys want to get the 9 step process that we use with our clients, you can go to the BIDacademypodcast.com. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me on social media. It's Alex Thoric on pretty much every platform: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are the ones that I use mostly. But yeah,
Perfect. Well, those links are going to be below, so you can just go click follow Alex wherever you spend most of your time. If it's Facebook, if it's Instagram, LinkedIn, obviously the website's going to be there as well. So again, Alex, thank you so much for your time here today. It has been a pleasure having you on.
well, thanks a lot for having me on, and I truly enjoyed our conversation.
Same here. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I told you this was going to be a good one, so you know what to do. Share this show out with your network. You never know who's that entrepreneur that you're connected to or wants to be an entrepreneur that this information can truly help. So like that show, share it with your friends in your network, subscribe if you aren't already, and peace. I'll see you in the next one.